Hello everyone and welcome back to JavaScript lessons on Codecademy. So last time we did a bit of control flow and other things of how to organize your code and why some things might not run, i.e. debugging. So today we're going to be reviewing on what we've done so far. So let's see. So far we have covered quite a lot and there's so many new terms and so much syntax. So let's take a breather and review. So what we have learned is actually confirm and prompt. So we can make pop-up boxes appear by doing confirm function using one parameter or one argument, which is going to be a string and is going to be printed out or shown to the user. Also, we can use a prompt, which literally asks the user for some input. So you can enter whatever you want into it, basically. Then we have learned about data types. We have numbers and strings. So numbers can be anything. They can have decimal points. They don't have to have decimal points. Strings, they can anything that's inside quotation marks is a string, or at least double quotation marks. I'm not sure about single quotation marks. In Python they don't have any difference, but in JavaScript they might. So don't trust me on that one. But even if you put a number inside quotation marks, it's going to count as a string instead of a number. So be aware of that. We have also learned about booleans, which is either true or false. You can't have anything other than true or false for booleans. We have learned about conditionals, or as I like to call it, control flow, or whatever it is called. If the first condition is met, execute the first code block. If it is not met, execute the code in the else block. See the code on the right for another example. So here we go. We have if 12 divided by 4 is equal to the length of array. So 12 divided by 4 is 3. The length of array is also 3. So that is true. And then we would be asked to confirm, will this run the first block? And we say true, because I guess it will. What would happen if we do cancel? Interesting. So let's see. Hope this breather was helpful. Click save and submit to continue. Will this run the first block? No. It just prints false. Ooh, we tricked it. Okay, let's move on. So what we have also covered is math. And the code, or some things that you can do, is use brackets, use multiplication and division, use subtraction and addition. So we have examples of how to use them. 100 divided by 10 is 10. The length of Jane plus 5 is 9, because the length of Jane is 4, and then you can add 5 to it. Because if you do dot length, it returns a number. So it's not actually a string if you do dot length to a string. So be aware of that. So, and you also have, if you use brackets, it's bidmass, so you have 3 plus 1 is evaluated first, so you have 4. 5 times 4 is 20. So what we need to do is complete the missing bits of code to construct the if-else statement. Make the condition evaluate to true. So, okay, I guess. So make it evaluate to true. John.length times 2 divided by 3. The length of John is 3. 3 times 2 is 6, divided by 3 is 2, so that equals 2. The answer makes sense. Else, finish the else statement by printing out the string error to the console. That's interesting, or funny, more than interesting. So how we print out to the console is by doing console.log, as we have covered before. I know I copied it, but I don't think that I copied it correctly, so I'll just write it out, or type it out. Expected expression got keyword else. Oh, did we not did we miscalculate this? So the length of John times 2 is 6. Divided by 3 is definitely 2. What am I doing wrong here? Division and multiplication are at the same level, so it doesn't matter how you do them. You have length of John is 3, from what I count here. 3 times 2 is 6. 6 divided by 3 is also 2. So we need to construct make the condition evaluate to true. That is interesting. I'll come back. I just realized what the error is, or what's wrong with it. We didn't actually have an if there, so it was just this, and the code didn't know what's going on. So we didn't have the if keyword there. Now everything should work fine, and as we can see, it does. I was just being really stupid there. So let's move on. Math and the modulo. Okay, so this is a new operator. Let's meet an interesting symbol called modulo. When percentage or modulo is placed between two numbers, the computer will divide the first number by the second and then return the remainder of that division. So if we do 23 modulo 10, we divide 23 by 10, which equals to 2, with 3 left over. So 23 modulo 10 evaluates to 3. Hopefully that makes sense. At first it might not, but try reading this over and over and it will after a while. If it doesn't make sense at the end, just ask in the comments down below. I will be happy to explain. So more examples. 17 modulo 5 evaluates to 2. So 5 goes 3 times into 17. 5 times 3 is 15. And then to get to 17 you need to add 2, which is the remainder. So 17 modulo 5 evaluates to 2. Then you have 13 modulo 7. 7 goes into 13 once, and then to get to 13 you need to add 6, which is the remainder, and that's why 13 modulo 7 evaluates to 6. So hopefully that makes more sense now. So use the console log and modulo 3 times to print out the remainder of the following equations. Okay? Oh, equations. Why does it say equations? Those aren't equations. Okay, whatever. Console.log, and we need to print those out. So it's 14 divided by 3. Oh, why is it divided and not modulo? That's interesting. Or am I just am I actually supposed to change that to modulo myself? I might actually need to do that. Let's see. So that, and 99 divided by 8. I like leaving a space between them because it just makes it more readable. And okay, we do need to actually change that. So let's do that real quick, and let's see. So 14 modulo 3 is 2, 99 modulo 8 is 3, and 11 modulo 3 is 2. I'm not sure about JavaScript, but I know that in C++ you use the modulo if you want to get random, because there is no import random or anything like that in C++. You have to make your own random number generator, basically. In JavaScript, I'm not sure what you might need it for, but it can come in useful sometimes if you, I don't know, I can't think of any examples now, sorry. You can just Google it or look at some previous Python videos which have some examples of using that in an actual program. For now, let's just move on. Modulo and if else. So while they're modulo, for one thing, it's good at testing divisibility. Consider 30 modulo 10. What does it return? There is nothing left over, so 0. Oh, now I remember. The most useful thing with modulo is it an even or an odd number? If it returns more than 0, it's an odd number. If it returns 0, then it's an even number. That's the most useful thing that you can use modulo for usually. How about 9 modulo 3? It's also 0. We can use modulo in comparisons like this. So 10 modulo 2 is 0, evaluates to true. 7 modulo 3 equals 0, evaluates to false because there is 1 left over. So let's see what we need to do. Let's get the if else statement to display the first number is even. Okay, so this is what I was talking about. And we need to edit line 5 by adding a comparison that evaluates to true. If some number, so say 8 modulo 2, that's going to be true. Oh no, it's not going to be true. We have to put equals 0, because 8 modulo 2 is going to return 0, because you can't divide 8 by 2, and therefore this is going to be printed out. In the comparison, use a modulo and an even number like we did in the example above. So 8 is an even number. If we put 9 there though, it would return 1, so this statement would be false. That's how modulo is usually used. So let's move on. Substrings. We've learned a few ways to manipulate numbers. What about manipulating strings? Sometimes you don't want to display the entire string, just part of it. For example, in your Gmail inbox, you can set it to display the first 50 or so characters of each message so you can preview them. This preview is substring of the original string, the entire message. Code, how you can do it, I guess, is so you have the string and you do dot substring and x and y, where x is where you start chopping and y is where you finish chopping and the original string. Chopping the original string, sorry. The number part is a little strange. To select the he in hello, you would write this. Hello.substring02. So counting in strings and lists, which I hope that we will cover later on, starts at 0 in computers. Each character in a string is numbered starting from 0 like this. So you have 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. The letter H is in position 0, the letter E is in position 1, and so on. So this isn't actually an accurate diagram. H should be below 0, E should be below 1, L should be below 2, the other L should be below 3, and the O should be below 4. And it's slightly confusing because it looks like the H is in between 0 and 1. So the letter H, as I said, is in position 1, letter E is in position 1, and so on. Therefore, if you start at position 0 and slice right up till position 2, you're left with just he. It stops just before position 2, basically. So you say start here and stop before whichever position you want. More examples. First 3 letters of Batman. So Batman.substring 03 would give you bat, because those are the first 3 letters, and if we do 0, 1, 2, M is in position 3 and it stops before position 3. From 4th to 6th letter of laptop, so we have laptop.substring 36. What's this going to do is 0, 1, 2, 3, start at T, finish at so this is going to be 4, 5, finish before the end of laptop, basically. So it's going to print op, I think, isn't it, or top? Yeah, it's going to print top. So what we need to do is find the 4th up to including the 7th letter of the string wonderful day. So I will just copy and paste wonderful day and do dot substrings or substring singular 4th up to the 8th. So as I said before, it stops before whatever you give it as the second argument, so we have to put 8, because if we put 7, it would stop at it would stop before the 7th, so it would stop at the 6th position. If we do this, it should be fine, or maybe not. Erfu instead of derf, so erfu instead of derf. 4th and okay, so we need to lower both of those by 1 because it's talking about the letter and not the position. For some reason I thought it was talking about the position, so sorry about that. So now it prints out derf because the 4th letter is in the 3rd position and the 7th letter is in the 7th position. Or no, the 7th letter is in the 6th position, but we stop before the 7th position to get to the 6th position, otherwise it doesn't work out. So let's move on. More substring practice. Getting the positioning of substring letter position is sometimes tricky. Let's make sure we really have it nailed down. Remember that each character in a string is numbered starting from 0. So for the word hello, the letter 0 is in position 0, and so on. Using console.log on 3 separate lines, print out the substrings for the following strings. Jan in January, So first thing I will do is do console.log and everything surrounding it, so that I don't have to write it out each time. So we need to do something from January. So I will just copy out, wait, what? I will just copy out the strings and then work on them. So Jan in January, Melbourne Melbourne is great. And then burgers in hamburgers. So we need to copy hamburgers. Then you do .substring, and you also have that. So let's copy that. Oops, I didn't mean to do V. There we go. And to get Jan in January, we start at 0 and finish at position 3. Because position 3 is a U, but we stop before that, so we get to the N. Here we need to print Melbourne is great. So the S is in position 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So we need to stop at position 12, and we need to start at position 0 because we are starting at M. And then burgers in hamburgers. The B is in position 1, 2, 3, in position 3. So we start at 3 and finish at the end, or an extra at the end. And how long is hamburgers? 6, 9, 10. So we need to finish at 11. So let's see if that's correct. Yeah, and yes it is. So as we can see, it prints Jan from January by putting in position 0 or putting in the argument 0 and 3. Melbourne is from Melbourne is great by putting in the argument 0 and 12. And burgers from hamburgers and by putting in the arguments 3 and 11. So hopefully that makes sense. If it doesn't, feel free to ask in the comments down below. I will do my best to explain. But if you guys liked this video, please like, share and subscribe. If you didn't like it though, please click the dislike button and tell me in the comments down below why you didn't like it, so that I can improve for next time. So until that next time, thank you so much for watching and goodbye.